I have a bell.
Thank you, Madam MC. If I get fired when I get back to Fiji. Bulunaka, good day and warm greetings to you all. Firstly, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to leaders past, present, and emerging. The Australia's Minister for Communications, the Honourable Michelle Rowland, she's not here at the moment, but I'm assuming she comes. She's another proud Fiji export to Australia. New South Wales Special Minister for State, Minister for Roads, Arts, Music, Jobs and Tourism, the Honourable John Graham, MLC, who is stepping in for Australia's Assistant Minister for Trade and Manufacturing, the Honourable Tim Ayres, who I acknowledge is unwell, and we of course all wish him a speedy recovery. Thank you, John, for gracing us today. My fellow Deputy Prime Minister and long friend, Deputy Prime Minister Honourable William Ngabuka, Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation. Minister for Employment, Productivity and Industrial Relations, Honourable Agni Deo. Fiji High Commissioner to Australia, His Excellency David Kulitangane. Australia Fiji Business Council President, Ms. Alison Howarth West. Fiji Australia Business Council President, Ms. Vera Shute. Investment Fiji Chair, Ms. Jenny Sito. Captains of industry, government officials here today, permanent secretaries and trade commissioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is wonderful to be back in Sydney, and apart from regarding Sydney as my home, outside home in Fiji, I am perhaps a classic example of Australia-Fiji relationships, being a proud recipient of an AusAid scholarship, which allowed me to attend University of New South Wales, and later to return to work for PW at that time, not PwC, on Kent Street, several years after and completing my professional year to become a member of the Australian New Zealand Institute of Chartered Accountants. If you overlay that with my late father, who was a graduate and postgraduate of Melbourne University, and sponsored as well by the Australian government. And my mother, who went to Armidale University of New England in Armidale, who also was sponsored by the Methodist Church in Fiji and Australia. And then our daughter, who's just graduated from University of Queensland, is somewhat of a family affair. It is an absolute honor to officiate on the 27th Australia Fiji Business Forum. This gathering underscores the ties between our nations and the exciting possibilities that lay ahead of us. I'm told that the number of delegates is the largest gathering, as Alison had alluded to, since AFBC inception. And I congratulate Frank, whom I've known for quite a long time, and Alison for this achievement. Please give them a round of applause. As we convene, we cannot but ignore the profound transformation that has shaped Fiji in recent times. The 2022 general elections marked a turning point in our nation's history, a moment that ushered in a new era of genuine, true democracy and marked the emergence of the new Fiji. The dawn of this new Fiji was further solidified with the entry of our coalition government, a partnership founded on the principle of inclusivity and collaboration. It has been our foremost priority to dismantle the remnants of draconian laws, fostering an environment that celebrates freedom, respect, and the collective aspirations of our people. As a strong coalition government, we continue to go from strength to strength. Our country needs strong, compassionate leadership. Our common principles are based on true democracy, good governance, inclusivity, equality, accountability, and transparency. That is why we immediately sent some of the oppressive and draconian laws to the dustbin of history. Draconian laws such as the Media Industry Development Act that once muffled the media industry in Fiji. Bill 17 or Act 22 that removed some consent rights of our resource owners without consultation. And we have amended the Electoral Registration Voters Act to enable the ease of voting for our women, our sisters, our mothers and grandmothers. This commitment to cleaning up legislation and make concerted efforts to change the overall legislative setting in Fiji will continue as we usher in the new Fiji. In the coming weeks, we will be proudly launching the Media Council of Fiji, a self-regulation platform that stands at the intersection of national media, government representatives, and the community's voices. This institution will serve as a beacon of media freedom and excellence in Fiji and a guardian of our shared values. Basically, we have started delivering on our promises collectively, and we hope we have demonstrated that we now have a leadership you can trust and a government you can trust. One of the desires we have as a government is to listen and consult. This was evidenced through the establishment of the Fiscal Review Committee and subsequently the Economic Summit, which saw over 900 business leaders and key stakeholders converging in Suva to discuss broad plans for the country's future. I'm sure the Honourable Permanent Secretary of Finance will elaborate further, but I'll suffice to say that out of these consultations, the national budget was developed. With the theme, Rebuilding Our Future Together, the recent budget now creates a more conducive environment to invigorate the private sector and grow the economy, with special focus on micro to medium-sized businesses, diversifying the economy, enhancing our position as a regional hub, transitioning to 100% digital economy, and of course, improving our regulatory and governance frameworks. I'll come back to that topic later. I won't talk much more about the budget because I think that's why Mr. Garda is here. But it has set a platform for what we believe will be the recalibration, the rebuilding, and the prosperity of the new Fiji. Just very briefly, some of the priorities that we have in our ministry includes, of course, the supporting economic diversification and looking at the guest list here today. We certainly can see the diverse sectors of the economy and the opportunities perhaps that lie in this forum. Driving Fiji as a regional hub is another key driver that we are trying to execute. And one of the things that are strengths for Fiji is the telecommunications industry. It is a very capable industry and has, over the last decade really, started creating that natural regional hub. And of course, Fiji Airways, being the platform to connect the islands together, will also be of great benefit as we try and advance that particular objective. In terms of advancing the digital economy, the ministry is of course keen to develop that further and actually automate what needs to be automated, remove paper and red tape and unnecessary approvals. And as I said, I'll come back to that later. Connecting the unconnected is a key priority. We have 5% of Fiji that is still relatively unconnected right now, and we are keen to connect them up at least in the next 4 years as part of our government. And I'm looking forward to collaboration with the telcos to bring that to fruition. And of course, the easing of doing business or the improving or regulatory and governance frameworks, the improvement of regulatory and governance frameworks. Now, notwithstanding all of this, there are some possible headwinds. However, the economy is expected to grow about 8% in 2023 and a further 3.8% in 2024. The emphasis on macroeconomic stability and fiscal sustainability are essential as we move forward in trying to attract quality investment and private capital. Current figures from our investment promotion agency, Investment Fiji, reveal a pipeline of about 141 committed investment projects, totaling a total sum of 8.26 billion or AUD 5.37 billion so far. This is a rapid increase since we gained office, and we are very keen, of course, to execute this pipeline. Of those active leads, there's about 23 from Australia, with a proposed investment value of around 150 million or 100 million Australian. And this shows investment confidence and this shows investor confidence and the fact that business sentiment is strong. In fact, Fiji is open for business. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that Australia has been and will continue to be an important partner for Fiji and the Pacific. As we reflect on the journey of trade and investment relationships between Fiji and Australia, we have witnessed its evolution from the early days of trading goods under Spartaca to the comprehensive collaboration we see today. Recent support to Fiji in terms of sports has of course been of great benefit, as we saw in the rugby game at Twickenham last weekend. As a family, we are there for each other when times are tough. We saw this during the pandemic, when Australia stepped up to support Fiji and the Pacific, providing critical health support to our country. And on behalf of the Fijian government, again, I would just like to thank the government of Australia for all the support and financial health and financial support provided during that crucial time. Of course, the disaster relief, as mentioned yesterday by Lisa, has been an area of support, and we thank Australia for their support in that area. And of course, Fiji has also tried to step in and provide support. The recent one was, of course, the RMF support to Australia during the Black Summer fires, bushfires. And we all remember the viral footage of our Fijian labor workers helping to evacuate elderly residents from a nursing home in Lismore in the catastrophic floods that affected much of New South Wales. Australia continues to be one of the largest trade and investment partners of Fiji, with two-way goods and services totaling over Australian 1.4 billion in 2021-2022. Australia remains a major source of foreign investment as well. Australia is also Fiji's second largest export and import destination, which is around a percentage of about 6.5% of total Fiji import-export, with over 3,000 Australian companies currently doing business in Fiji. Our bilateral trade and trade investment has indeed thrived in recent times, creating economic opportunities for all our people. We continue to see greater levels of export and market access for Fiji in terms of products, including the pilot program for commercial importation of kava. Since December 2021, we have exported over 50 tons of kava to Australia, and of the 258 registered exporters from the Pacific, 154 are from Fiji. We look forward to seeing the benefits of full commercialization, hopefully in the near future. opening doors for greater levels of innovation and access for cover-based products that can appeal to a much broader section of Australian community. And there's some cover businesses in the room today. I'm sure they'll be happy with my comment. I would also like to share some promising developments that will undoubtedly be of benefit to Fiji exporters. The recent inclusion of Lautoka Port in the sea container hygiene system brings forth a wave of positive news for those engaged in trade between Fiji and Australia. Through sustained adherence to compliance measures, we anticipate a significant reduction in the number of external sea container inspections upon arrival. This reduction could plummet to as low as 5% of all containers. The foundation for any strong relationship is, of course, in its people-to-people links, and here is a living testament of that example. Australia and Fiji share much more than just common geography and history. It is a relationship with extensive deep-seated ties between our people. Close to 69,000 people born in Fiji live in Australia, and Fiji also remains one of the top destinations for Australians traveling overseas. I think the recent Expedia reports had us at #1, which was a good achievement. Between April and December last year, Australia's made over half, or 54% of all overseas arrivals into Fiji, equating to well over 300,000 visitors, up 13% from 2019. And Honorable Ngavoka will be talking a lot more, I'm sure, about the numbers and the great strides that are happening in the tourism industry. Australia and Fiji are indeed natural partners, and we acknowledge the significance of the growing Vuvale partnership between our countries. Vuvale, a Fijian term that encapsulates the essence of family and kinship, truly captures the spirit of our relationship. Our ties go beyond transactions. They are built on shared values, mutual respect, and a commitment to common goals. We are currently working together to review and renew the partnership. We are keen to reflect the changing priorities and challenges due to the cataclysmic changes that occurred since the signing of the partnership. And the renewal of our commitment is envisaged to inspire generations and represent our unique and collective interests on the 5 pillars that are the bedrock of our arrangement. We hope that issues such as labor mobility, as alluded to by Alison, will be discussed extensively in this review. And it makes no secret that if not addressed, will become a challenge to our economic growth ambitions. Fiji is also having discussion on the possibility of our workers being allowed to contribute 1 year to the super fund back in Fiji. This would certainly help our seasonal workers, and I know that there is positive support, and the Minister for Labour will be talking about that tomorrow actually. At this remarkable juncture in our partnership, we have embarked on a few agreements that excite me. One of them is, of course, a topic that will be discussed tomorrow, and that is the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Agreement, or IPEF. IPEF stands as a beacon of innovation and a testament to our ability to adapt and forge new paths forward. By uniting some of the largest and most dynamic economies in the region, accounting for at least 40% of GDP, IPEF transcends the limitations of past models. It embodies a 21st century economic approach tailor-made to confront the unique trade and economic challenges that define our era. With our growing collaboration through frameworks such as IPEF, we are poised as a country to embark on a journey of transformation, collaboration, and I believe boundless potential. The government has also publicly committed to relooking at PESA Plus, and we look forward to engagements at the conclusion of the IPEF negotiations in November 2023. There are genuine concerns at home that have made Fiji hesitant when it comes to PESA, but we are keen to discuss this further, as we would like to do in the current government. Over the last year, Fiji stood shoulder to shoulder with Australia, advocating for fairness in fishing subsidies through the WTO. Some very good progress has been made with the adoption of the first phase of the fisheries subsidy agreement, and there are negotiations underway with Australia to conclude on the second wave of negotiations, which we expect or hope can be concluded positively in February of 2023. And I would like to thank the Ambassador George Mina from the WTO, who has been quite supportive in our endeavors. Uvale, of course, means that my home is your home. And as our region becomes more integrated and interconnected with greater flows of commerce, goods, so do we hope to see the ease of movement for our peoples to enable even closer cultural and familiar links, as well as facilitating expansion of business and building on more resilience in an increasingly complex and competitive geostrategic environment. The Honourable Minister of Finance had alluded to similar sentiments about access. There also remains potential untapped potential in other areas, such as commercial agriculture, in areas such as ginger, turmeric, papaya, eggplants, and aquaculture, to name a few. Apart from just importing our produce, we also encourage the possibility in entering into joint ventures with our smallholder farmers or cooperatives. We have a vibrant MSME segment, and we urge you through Investment Fiji connect with some of our MSMEs and Fijian businesses. We believe we are perfectly positioned to supply your entities given your tight turnarounds with a stamp of quality. Critical to ensuring that we keep up with growing demand for travel to Fiji is our ongoing investment in our national carrier, Fiji Airways. The recent acquisition of the 2 new A350s will usher in another new exciting era of tourism growth and development in Fiji. My fellow Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Ngavoka, who is of course a true tourism professional, having led it in various roles, will discuss this further tomorrow and talk about what we're seeing, which is an amazing escalation in interest in Fiji. Our emerging outsourcing sector has definitely grown due to Australian business choosing Fiji as their outsourcing destination. Not only do we have a high qualified workforce and a large English-speaking population, our first-class telecommunications infrastructure sets us apart from other destinations. And just as an aside, during COVID, when Philippines and India had to close, Fiji was open. We were operating, and perhaps that fueled what is today a great interest in that industry in Fiji. KPMG, for example, has now set up support services for one of its sector of clientele in Fiji, and expect to recruit something around 350 staff over the next couple of years to support their operations in Australia. In our quest for ensuring stable and safe cyberspace, Australia and Fiji have continued to deepen our cyber and ICT cooperation across a number of fronts and advocating in the interests and priorities of the region on a global scale. 2 weeks ago, I met with the Australia's Ambassador for Cyber Affairs and Critical Technology. And both of our teams have already started working on further areas of partnership to tackle common challenges, and I'm looking forward to seeing these initiatives come to fruition. The visit to Digicel, the operations center yesterday was quite eye-opening. Not sure whether Fiji government can get there, but it's certainly a good benchmark to keep at the back of the mind. And just earlier this week, Minister Rowland and I were in Papua New Guinea for the Pacific ICT Ministers Dialogue, where we together with our regional counterparts discussed and agreed on the way forward to bolster digitalization efforts across the region to ensure no one is left behind and also combat cybercrime. All these efforts that we are prioritizing to promote stability, reliability and trust and create a more secure, thriving, attractive environment for businesses to operate in Fiji. And yes, as I said, Fiji is open for business. There has never been a better time for two countries to do business and deepen our economic relationship. The Fiji government is committed to improve and streamline doing business in Fiji. A key hallmark of this is the new rebranded Business Now Fiji portal, a comprehensive online platform which we hope will facilitate efficient delivery of e-services to business owners, investors, and citizens of Fiji. And just last week, we formalized the agreement that will bring online the automation of 25 e-services over 16 agencies on a single platform over the next 18 to 24 months. Denoting our unwavering commitment to investment, we have formed what is called the Investment Facilitation Committee. And some of you have actually experienced the assistance from this committee, with a primary objective to identify hindrances within the investment climate and provide recommendations to government for effective remedies. These endeavors encapsulate our dedication to driving economic growth and increasing investment in Fiji. The government is also committed to removing investment barriers and bottlenecks for former citizens who want to invest in Fiji. We have already changed the immigration laws and regulations that will allow former Fiji-born citizens holding other passports to come to Fiji without needing a permit. To the members of the Fiji diaspora here in Australia and around the world, you are always welcome home. Please feel free to bring your skills and knowledge and expertise. Let's rebuild Fiji together, a new Fiji for our people. Finally, to reiterate the third theme of this forum, it is a new Fiji, and it is mostly certainly open for business. To the Australian business community and investors, my message is invest in us, invest in our people, invest in the abundance of opportunities that our country has to offer. There is immense potential everywhere you look, really, and I'll just mention a few. Manufacturing, ICT, renewable energy, outsourcing, film production, commercial agriculture, aquaculture, mining, and tourism sectors. The CEO for Investment Fiji will talk about it in a bit more detail. There are also opportunities in new industries, which I term the nutraceutical industries. Of course, kava is in there, and there is an active discussion at home about medicinal cannabis. And of course, renewable energy remains a great area of opportunity, and also infrastructure. In closing, I would like to thank you all for your presence and for this opportunity to speak with you. I look forward to the many exciting discussions and initiatives from this Business Forum event. And finally, of course, as all eyes turn to France for the Fiji Rugby World Cup, diplomatic protocol dictates that I need to wish the Wallabies all the best of luck as we meet in the pool games. But as we say in Fiji, Toso Fiji Toso, go Fiji go. Navalemu, thank you for your attention. May God bless Australia, God bless Fiji, God bless you all, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.